Dee with the Restored Lineage Project. Today I'm in the actual office though. Very, very special video because I'm going to be showing you all a little snippet of the behind the scenes of how we get to conclusions that we get to for different clients. Every person's DNA is different. I'm going over genetic genealogy today and the importance of genetic genealogy when we're doing genealogy work for people, specifically Black Indigenous people, because they're my family, that's my people. There's this weird internet war that I just stay out of. I'm a grown person. I've had businesses for over 10 years. Over the last year of working with genealogists, certified genealogists, people who've gone to school for archaeology. We're just going over facts. I'm hitting with precision, family. That's just what we're going to do. Today, we're talking about DNA and how the difference between what is going to be shown on somewhere like Ancestry.com, 23andMe, MyHeritage, versus panels for more ancient DNA, where we're breaking down your chromosomes. I've had multiple clients in this week that had so many differences in their DNA. I had a fire client, matter of fact, this time of day when people are migrating so many different places. It's so fire to see her DNA and how it kind of formed over the years with her family just staying in one set location. So I thought that was pretty cool. A lot of people talk about how we're not indigenous when we're just going to keep on verifying that we are indigenous. And we're using DNA today to make that process expedited. A lot of people talk about on the internet, oh, we got to do something. Here again, I hit with precision. I don't play around. I'm a business person. My mom passed away when I was 22. Okay, my mom passed away when I was 22. Due to medical malpractice, mind you, they gave her the wrong medication. She died within that week. And that's a very common thing for people in our, demographic. So, no harboring on that. But what I say, my reason why I do what I do is so important that we heal these family connections, that we heal these bloodlines, these lines that have been separated because of the colonial era and separated not by our own doing. But today, I'm going to share screens with y'all. Here again, this is something that I go through, and this is a snippet of what I do with my clients. So much more. I can't even fit. Go ahead and donate, though. Go ahead and donate. Donations can be taken right off the website. Go ahead and donate because this process is definitely not free. Freedom is not free. Freedom is not free. We're going to go over the different colors on a chart that I'm looking at. We're going to focus on the Amerindian DNA, but I'm showing you the colors for all of them, right? So this is a lady who I'm working with this week, and her DNA was so fire, because Ancestry, MyHeritage, 23andMe, they have a tendency to block out anything that they can't easily do. See, their machines, their technology is so lazy. But here again, where we have had to historically work 10 times harder, what I'm looking at is someone that I've been working with this week. And we are noticing that she has high levels of Amerindian on multiple of her chromosomes. And this one chromosome is just so fire. She had from over 35 million to over 50 million Amerindian on that one chromosome in that one segment area. That is so fire because, you have these little admixtures. And what is these admixtures? Orange, red. So when we take a look at that orange, Baltic, okay, that's Caucasians. North Atlantic, okay, we know that's Caucasian. So we're not gonna pretend like they wasn't out here snatching babies. We're not gonna pretend like they wasn't digging up chocolate. We're not gonna pretend like that. It is what it is. We're just gonna move past it and heal, family, heal. Look at this fire connection that she has. This is something that Ancestry may not pick up on, but we picked up on it, right? Because at the end of the day, her family before 35 M's to 50 M's, this is her Amerindian. This is just from one line. Mind you, we have migration patterns, right? This is another one. So this person's is different. They're from before, a little before 120 mil on this chromosome. Let's say maybe like 115 mil on this chromosome to a little past 140, let's say 143 million on this chromosome. So fire because they do have Amerindian, but their family, you can see obviously that they went through a little bit more trauma. They got a little bit more trauma, a little bit more story here, right? Because you see some of that little Caucasian, man, they like to be everywhere we go. West Medred, and that's very common because here again the Europeans, they didn't migrate just to one place; they migrated all over before they got to the quote unquote new world. So you're gonna see some of that too. What is this little nice little blue here? This little like a lighter blue. Okay, that makes sense too. So you're gonna see a lot of this, and then you got like the sub-Saharan. We could get into that because this person definitely have some Hebrews in their DNA. So we can talk about it. Let's talk about it. But we're gonna focus on that Amerindian, right? Because you clearly see that this person's family, their migration is more of a modern migration. They have more of a connected segment here, and this stands for and represents one family line. Everyone, as you keep on evolving and going through the different generations, you're definitely going to see different generations combined in different ways. And we can go over that too. Whew. Look at this stuff. Look at this stuff. This is somebody that's actually related to one of the people I just showed you. And they have less Amerindian, but look at all this green, look at this brown, look at this red, look at this orange. Can y'all tell what this person is like? Just looking at this, could you tell what they would present like today? Like, I'm curious. If you know what they would present like, drop that in the comment section. Did you know before I'm going to mention it or what? Because this person, when they had the green, the brown, the red, the orange, let's take a look. The green, what? East Med. The red, the brown, the orange, Baltic. So what can we conclude? This person is white presenting, right? Because white is a race. It's not an ethnicity. It is a reclassification for people, so that way some people can migrate and steal land and displace indigenous people to that land a little bit easier if you just call everybody a race, right? So this person obviously is a white passing person, but they're mixed with a lot of different ethnical backgrounds and predominantly across the globe, like somewhere else for sure. Then you have, wow. All right. Well, that what's understood don't need to be explained, but we're going to still go over it a little bit. So we can see, obviously, here again, this person, what is the yellow? You know what? I don't talk about the yellow a lot. West Asia. Okay, so that's not Amerindian. That's definitely not Amerindian. That's just showing their migration pattern and how they came from the Baltic areas, how they came from the West Mid and the North Atlantic and to form this person and who they are today. They do have a small bit of Amerindian, okay, a little Amerindian, okay, but essentially, mostly have decided to assimilate into modern day Caucasian, Caucasian society and call themselves white, or they didn't choose that. People are born the ways they born, So when we go over history and we're talking about people saying, "Oh, we're not African," shit, we was not African. And you can see that in some of these people, because here again, you can tell the ones that are Caucasian, you can tell the ones that look more like us, right? And we don't come from Africa. Our biggest rift with modern day people and populations trying to displace us from our land and tell us who we are is because, when you think about it, Africa wasn't even Africa before the 15th and 17th centuries. It was not that. So, and imagine these people were out here stealing babies. The average person that was put into slaveries or put into these enslaved positions on our land were kids, were teenagers. The average age was like, I think 15, but they were snatching up people 10 years old in the shoe. I saw somebody who was listed as an infant. I'm like, who baby you then sold? Reality is that a lot of us aren't going to be knowing anything about no African stories because our people don't know nothing about Africa. Our people know their tribes. And the further away we go from different locations, it is going to tell a story. It's called lineal drift. Say your family has been stationed in South Carolina region for generations after generations after generations. But then someone recently took it upon themselves, like your grandparents or your parents took it upon themselves to say, "Oh, we're going to move to Chicago. We're going to move to New York, or Jersey, whatever have you." Well, you're doing what's called a lineal drift. And that's when your segments on your DNA starts breaking down further. So these machines that Ancestry, 23andMe and stuff, what they're using, they truly can't pick up on that because they're lazy. Their technology and the machines they're using is not equipped for someone who's had to migrate or who's chosen to migrate for generations, right? Now let's talk about the people who, here again, had to juck and jive for generations out. Like they might have originally started off in a tribe in Mississippi, and then they moved to South Carolina and linked there, and then they moved to another part and linked there. They're going to have even smaller blocks of Amerindian on their DNA. Why? Because they're mixed with so many different tribes. And that's truly all right. Like they're all still Amerindian. The only sticky is that it makes it harder for some of these machines to pick up on it. And that's why you need a genetic genealogist helping you, especially if your paper trail is not really helping you. These public archives, these census, they don't even use census for you to enroll in tribes. They're saying, oh, do your genealogy. They're telling you in a roundabout way, take the hard way. Like, it's not okay, family. This is why we stand on lineage now. A lot of people talking about, we're Amerindian. You notice I don't need to post every day to get the point across. You won't feel it anyway because I'm going to hit with precision. We are now officially in contact with people in every single state. When I say I hit with precision, I'm methodical about this. If you want to heal the people, you talk about, oh, well, why do I have this percentage? Why do I have this percentage? Be honest, did your family migrate at a point? Do you know if your family moved at a point? Because if they moved, then you know it. All right, well, your DNA started breaking down. You're not close to your lineal line. You want to have solid blocks of Amerindian? Go back to South Carolina. Go back to North Carolina, to Mississippi, to wherever your people are from, and have kids with people who are descendants of tribes that you stem from, because that's what's going to get you the larger DNAs. When we're talking about, these people on the reservations or in Mexico and places having larger segments of Amerindian DNA that shows up on a pie chart at a larger percentage, that's because they're doing assortative breeding or assortative mixing, which is another word for endogamy. We've talked about that in previous videos. Endogamy is where you're bottlenecking DNA so that way it continues to keep on passing down in large clumps, right? Same thing can be said for us and what they did to our people. We're passing down large blocks, but then when people run and oh, I'm hitting up north where the pay is better. A lot of people did that in the early 1900s when they left the South because the Jim Crow era, because people were burning down churches in schools with kids in it. A lot of people said, all right, let's just go pack up and go up north, not even knowing about New Jersey having like slavery and stuff. We ain't even gonna talk about that. And then let's go into, they like to call us African but the fun fact is a lot of us ain't even gonna have DNA matches with Africans. Modern day, what they call Africans, we do not connect with our DNA. A lot of us. Now, some may, and if some people do, I can tell you as being someone who's a genetic genealogist that they have someone who recently migrated from Africa here. But if you are someone who's been in here generations after generations and like you've done your paper trail, you've seen that your people have been here since the 1700s, 1800s, and maybe beyond, you're not going to have a modern day African shared DNA segments with you. It's not going to happen because y'all don't relate in real time. Y'all don't relate. We're talking about the science behind all of this. So here again, family, if you need your genetic genealogy done to go over what you're seeing and why it might be presenting the way it is, if you need help with your genealogy, genetic genealogy can definitely help that and expedite that process. I've been able to link people to Cherokees. I've been able to link people to Mississippi mound builder, different tribes using their DNA. Or if you need help with your genealogy, you can go to the restoredlineageproject.com. If you have your paperwork done, if you have your DNA so we can help continue to link other people join the census. The census is free, but it does require you to have all your paperwork. I noticed that there's some people trying to compete with me when they need to be just getting on board, go against Mother Gaia source thing, but join the census. So join the census if you have all your paperwork together, if you have your DNA, so that way we can help link other people to your family line. If you have your paperwork in order for your genealogy, putting you affiliated with your tribe, linking you to your Indian ancestors, or at least one of them, join the census. If you have all your stuff together, if you don't, if you need genetic genealogy or genealogy services, you can go to the restoredlineageproject.com and schedule a consultation with me.